Hey everybody, welcome to another deck profile from Attack on Productions. This is Dark. I am actually bringing you my deck that I've played for the past few weeks recently. You haven't seen me for a while because I'm usually doing stuff in the background or, making random comments, so to speak, in some videos. Typically with me, a lot of decks that I like to play are very aggressive and or hand controlly. Probably one of the last profiles you've seen me in or talk about. Actually, I did one for Slug, and that was a long time ago, to be honest. But there's new sets coming out. A lot of cards I need to actually relearn and or learn as of right now. But as of waiting for set 10, I've been running this set, which I like to call Gogeta Veggie Rush. So typically, starting off with this deck, we use the Gogeta leader from the game. I cannot honestly remember exactly what game it was from, but I didn't play it. I just wanted this leader and the cards that came with it. So you have the Super Saiyan Gogeta leader. On the front side, when this card attacks, the leader card, draw one card, and this card gets 5,000 power for the duration of the turn. For your Awaken, when your life is at 5 or less, you may draw one card, then choose up to one of your energy, switch it to active mode, and flip this card over. So I do typically love this leader for the simple fact that, one, every attack you get 5,000 power, and a draw also that feeds up on your hand, which is typically, good for anything that you may need when doing a aggressive deck, especially for me. But on the other side is where it gets very interesting, because that's why I love this leader. So this leader on the other side gets double strike for every attack. And when this card attacks, once again, you always draw one card. But one of my specific things that I like about this deck, especially when I'm trying to keep another aggressive deck away from whittling me down just as much, is activate main once per turn, choose one of your opponent's battle cards with 10,000 power or less, and KO it. Now, obviously, it doesn't get through barrier and things like that, but it can get rid of like the smaller hands, especially if they're trying to build up on you if they're using an aggressive deck as well. That is the leader I play. So if you're familiar with this card before in the game it came out with, again, I cannot remember the name. I'll have Bancroft or something put it in so I'm not making that big of a mistake. But with this leader, I play the Veggies decks, or the Veggie engine. So if anybody's familiar with the Veggie engine, you have your Saiyan Teamwork Kappa, which typically with Kappa permanent, while this card is in play in your battle area, decrease the energy cost of specified green cost of Khalifa and Kale in your hand by 1. So if you have plenty of these on the field, that can lower a lot of these cards that I use in here by nothing. Because some of these cards I do run a red-green engine, so typically with this red leader, which makes everything way easier for me, and especially trying to get everything out on the field, probably within like the first 2 turns, if not by 3rd turn. But typically with that engine, I run 4 of these because I always need them, and the more I have, the easier it is for me to get other cards out, other the Veggie engine out. So I also run at least 3 Unstoppable Ambition Super Saiyan Khalifas. As you see with the Khalifas, they are 2 green, so if I have 2 or more Kabbas out, the moment I drop her, I throw her into play, I can play her for free if I have 2 Kabbas. But the only thing about it is her permanent is when you play this card, choose one card from your life and add it to your hand. Well, I don't like playing more than one of these, but if I can keep her out on the field, there is a big spice added to this with this card specifically because of her permanence, which is really what I like to use. I also run 4 Sister Attack Saiyan Kales, Sister Attack Saiyan Kales. Typically with the Sister Attack Saiyan Kales, I'll move this up here for a little bit so you can see, because I honestly can't tell if I can see. There we go. Sister Attack Saiyan Kales. Auto. When this card attacks, if another Universe 6 is in play, your battle area, draw one card, and this card gains 5,000 power for duration turn. So I like having these on because, one, especially if I have a Kaba out, I only have to pay 1 red for her, and I can just drop her typically at any time, or I can search her with the Khalifa that I'm about to show you here in just a second. But I love using her all the time, especially when I have several things in play, because like I said, I always loved the Veggie engine when it came out, and I played it almost religiously for the longest time because I'm a big fan of aggressive decks, but she is definitely a go-to for me. So this goes to the Universe 6 and just pulling her out with the Khalifas. I run 3 Impeccable Super Saiyan Kabbas. Now the reason I run these is because, again, with the Veggie engine, like I'm basically going through the Veggie engine first for you, then I can show you the rest of what I have in this deck. Three of these, typically. Permanent, this card can attack battle cards in active mode, and your opponent cannot activate counters against this card. That is one main reason why I love having him on the field, as well as he is a very pivotal part to this Veggie engine deck. Auto, when this card attacks, if your leader card is a red sand, this card gains 5,000 power for the duration of the turn, which also I love because I do run a red leader, as you can see, which makes it even better. So, carrying on, I run also 3 Hidden Awakening Kales, because typically when I have enough Kabbas on hand, I can pay just 2 green, or not even 2. If I have enough Kabbas in hand, I can just pay 2 energy and outright play her. Typically, the only reason I do like to use her is, once again, the Veggie engine, but she has critical. The auto, when you play this card, choose one of your battle cards and KO it, then choose any number of your opponent's battle cards, of which the total cost adds up to 5 or less, and KO them. Specifically, I like bringing her out just to try to get rid of another swarm against me, or if somebody's dealing has a lot more battle cards out on the field, trying to whittle me down when I can just clear their board as quickly as possible, so I can get my attacks out as quickly as possible and hopefully try to win. But, that doesn't always happen. But it is a good card to have, and every now and then I will have to use it as energy. Just hold her right there so you can see. The last part of the Veggie engine that I use is one of the definite go-tos, because the one you search for with Kaba, typically, is the Bold Super Saiyan 2 Khalifa. Don't have to even worry about the evolve feature. It's her auto that you need. Obviously, because it's the Veggie engine. When you play this card, look up to the 7 cards from the top of your deck, choose up to 1 Universe 6 with 15,000 power or less among them, and play it, then shuffle your deck, which, for me, obviously I can use to pull out the Kabbas, or I can pull out the Sister Saiyan Kales, just for searching, free play immediately. Again, the Veggie engine, which I'm sure everybody's already familiar with, but just in case you didn't know or were unclear, I was just going back over it for you. The Kabbas, pull out the Khalifas for free. Khalifas, play Kales. Khalifa can play a Kale if it's 15 or less, and or the Kaba, as long as it's Universe 6. So I run 2 different super combos. I run the Sideline Assist Bulma. So her super combo, if your health is at 4 or less, you may draw 1 card when super comboing with that. I do enjoy those typically. I did run 4 for the longest while, but coming into this part of the engine, I just did that. I just noticed. My bad. Coming into this engine, where I need it, I also realized that I do run red-green. I'm not sure if I said that earlier, but my brain does get scrambled half the time, so let's see if we do. I run 2 Nappa Demolition Mans. It's a super combo for free, and if your leader card is a red or green at the end of battle, in which you can combo with this card, from your hand, you play this card. So typically that's what I like to do. Combo from which any of my cards at least, and then use him 1 for his red or green energy, and then just play him on the field, because another part of my hand to go with this specifically is I like to play, and if I can find it here real fast because I got so many cards in my hand, which is hilarious, I like to play my Fearless Pans. So typically, the more red Saiyans that I have on the field, the more Saiyans that I give Double Strike with, which I can typically only get her out about maybe, if I have 1 in hand, I can get her out, maybe have a wide board of Khalifas, Kale, especially most of the red ones, even the Kabbas. Bringing her out, giving everybody Double Strike. She is a blocker, so typically for me, I definitely need her when going against some of these newer decks that I've been fighting recently at locals. But she's always been at least a good one in any red deck that I've ever used, which I continue to keep her. So yeah, and also giving the Nappa Double Strike as well, and then everybody else on the field, yes please. I only run these specifically for energy. I run 4 Broly Demonic Origins. I really don't worry about his auto. I never play him unless I certainly have to. I've never had a case where I've had to play this card, but this card specifically is only for energy. I make sure I at least have 1 in my hand when I start the game, at least 1 him and 1 Kaba in my hand when I start the game. If I don't, I try searching for them as hard as I can just to make sure that I have them, because once you use 1 for energy, once you tap, say for example, he's in my energy first. He's already in rest mode. There's not really much I can do on first turn because I can't play a Kaba or anything, so I can swing with my leader, draw a card, just build up for my next turn. But when playing the next one for his energy exhaust, if I have another red-green, I can already play him not in rest mode, but play him active. So I can use him in the next few turns. That is the only reason I use that specifically. So they are always my energy. Every now and then I will throw a green down. Every now and then I'll throw a red down. Just depends on how my hand looks. I do run 2 Furthering Destruction Champas just to give any of my cards that I can't typically see with double strike to give them double strike, especially when I'm trying to push really hard. Because like I said, I'm trying to finish the game within 3 turns, at 2 to 3 turns at the minimum. But, there are negates and things that can't stop me. But typically I try to do as much rush as possible just to make sure with this aggressive deck, I try to make it as aggressive as possible. I know I say some words repeatedly, but just bear with me, please. I run 4 after image techniques, typically to keep me safe from not losing too much health, because there are cards that basically, when dropped, take 2 of your life from other players. I think there's one that's like a sand combination of some sort. I had it actually played against me not too long earlier, but I still came on top. But he is a counterattack. I'm sure you know what after image technique does. The counterattack works very well for me, especially when I'm trying to protect some of my cards that I want to keep on field, especially this one. If they come after her, there is a specific reason. I will show you. But like I said, just give me a minute and we'll get right to that. After that, I typically do play 2 of these, specifically the Super Saiyan Kaioken Son Goku Concentrated Destruction. One, because he has Deflect, obviously, if I get him onto the field. Secondly, his auto. When you play this card from your hand, choose all of your opponent's battle cards with 20,000 power or less and KO them. So, like I said, I'm trying to basically keep them down to where they cannot come at me as hard as I'm coming at them, especially if I'm running against an aggressive deck, or especially, possibly, maybe even some unisons. Not exactly sure if this does work against some unisons, but for 2 red, when you activate main, if your leader card is red and you place this card from your hand in your drop area, choose one of your opponent's battle cards, ignoring barrier, and it gets 25,000 power, negative 25,000 power for the duration of the turn. I typically use this just as a crutch against specific cards that I've had played against me recently, due to the fact that this deck isn't like the best. This deck isn't amazing. This deck doesn't, it could top if played probably better than I do, but I made this typically, just for fun, because I'm specifically am waiting for set 10. That's just me. But I do like playing this because I always love aggressive decks. I played Baby nonstop. I played the new Baby nonstop. I mean, it is just one after another. So, without further ado, I play 4 of the Super Saiyan Gogeta Acrobatic Warrior. The reason I play that is because I also play the Super Saiyan Gogeta Resonant Explosion, because I like to use the super combo that I have, pay it for free, pay 1 red, bam, I can arrival him and bring him out for free for playing a green and red as well, typically. So then that puts more double strike on the field, that puts more bodies on the field to attack with, as well as if I drop another pan, there is again another red Saiyan that I can put double strike onto. So then the double strike just comes out of nowhere, which, again, very aggressive deck, which is what I like to use. To help get them out, I use 2 Raditz's Arrival of the Invader. I only use them for combo purposes, specifically before the red and green. Every now and then I may have to use one for energy, which is okay, because I'd rather have nothing but red and green energy, just in case I have to play a 1-drop green for her, or the Kales, the 4-drop Kales in any swarm fashion. So, specific reason that I like to keep her in this deck, and I mentioned this before, is because the kicker for the most is, which I actually did it earlier, or I could have, but we didn't get to it, which is perfectly fine. So if you read her permanent, when your battle cards can't be KO'd by your own skills, and the permanent, your battle cards can't be placed in the drop area by your own skills. If you have her on board on your deck with all your other cards, and say you're getting swarmed by your opponent's cards as well. Well, maybe I have 7 or 8, battle cards in my combo area from where I've been attacking so much. Doesn't happen all the time. I have used this once or twice, and I found it amazing when I did. But I like to run the Dragon Ball's Negative Energy Overflow, because in doing so, having her, it doesn't remove all my cards because my cards cannot be removed by any skills that I use on mine. So luckily, I can throw this down, still have my field, and they have no field. And then I can just go in swinging. That is just the case, one of the main reasons that I use this specifically. But I only kept it in because I don't have a huge win condition. Like I said, most of these cards are typically in there specifically just for me to go through first, second, third turn, hopefully trying to finish out as quickly as possible. Yes, there are negates that will stop me, like I mentioned before, but it's me trying to be as aggressive as I can to make sure that the game itself is done within that time. But it doesn't always happen. I can come back, or they can come back. I mean, like I said, it's just a fun deck for me. I love playing this because I do love the aggression. But that is my Gogeta Veggie Assault deck. I hope you liked the video, and I hope you liked what I put together. If you've got anything that you would like to add to it that you think might make it better, please let me know in the comments. Or, if you haven't seen us before or everything, give us a subscribe as usual. We do love it when we have comments, and we do love making these decks and things for anybody who likes or wants to get into the game. I do talk to a lot of people about this game half the time. But that is my deck. I'm rambling now. That is my deck. And I'm probably going to take it here next week and try again, see how far I can get. And then once set 10 comes out, I've got another wonderful deck to play. I'm very excited. But so, as I said before, I hope you like. Please like and subscribe. Like I said, if there's anything you want to see or specific changes that you think would be better for this deck, please put it in the comments. We'll hop right on it, and we'll see what we can do to make it even better, because I continually play this until specific things come out. So, like I said, like and subscribe. This is Dark, and as always,
fluff out. Oh, read your cards, know your orders of play.
Oh wait, yeah. I don't know that whole new thing. I've been hearing half the time, but yeah, read your cards. I'm not bad about that. I will literally sit there and read them in front of you if I'm playing. But either way, yeah, blocker, keyword. But as I said, I hope you liked the video, and that's completely it. So thanks for watching.